What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Monday, back on the grind. Hope everybody had a really great weekend. So literally, I was watching the charts, and just before I started to make this video, we literally just fell. Like, we were just hanging out, kind of chilling. I was just watching it go up and down, and then boom. So we have broken below the $4,000 mark. As you can see right here, we're now sitting around 3,864. If we have a look at what is going on in the charts, we were sitting at $131 billion market cap. Now we're down to $126 billion. Everything has still maintained its same position. We still have XRP, Ethereum, Stellar, Bitcoin Cash, all in the same positions. And obviously, if we do switch the chart to Bitcoin, you notice that there's actually some in green. For example, Cardano, Binance, Bitcoin Gold, Dogecoin, Basic Attention Token, Waves, Bitcoin Diamond. Okay, so you do have coins that are really just being affected by the fact that Bitcoin just took a massive hit. So I wanted to make this a little bit interesting today, and I found that there's this website where you can essentially feed sheep using IOTA. So every time somebody sends in some IOTA, you hear like a little sheep make a noise, and then you go back here and you can basically watch them getting fed. So I'm going to leave this running during this video just for fun, see what happens. My luck, no one's going to feed the damn sheep, but hey, I think it'd be kind of fun just to deal with another red day in the markets. So this is the question everybody is asking. Will Bitcoin price snap 3-year December winning streak? So as you can see right down here, it basically was up 43% in 2010, 59% in 2011, 8% in 2012, and then the historical data shows that in 2013, it fell. Right? So then we had another one in 2015, 14%, 30% in 2016, 40% in 2017. So the question is, will it be able to do this again? The odds are probably pretty stacked against it right now, considering we also just had that major drop off, okay? The other thing too is to start with Bitcoin's convincing break below the 21-month exponential moving average, or the EMA, last month signaled a resumption of the bear market from the record high of $20,000 that it had reached last December, okay? So we're pretty much looking at a lot of these psychological barriers of numbers to break through. Obviously, the $4,000 mark, clearly we just fell through it. So that psychological barrier is out as well. But the other thing that we do have to note is that the 14-week RSI is holding well above 30, which is undersold territory, meaning that there is a scope for a drop. And as we can see, that is literally what happened. So talking about what's been going on, obviously everyone has their opinion and everybody loves to talk about Bitcoin, especially when it's doing bad. So we have CNBC's Melissa Lee, who actually was speaking to Paul Donavan, the global chief economist for UBS. Now, this guy is very doom and gloom. He basically says Bitcoin's a joke. Anyone that got involved in it is pretty much stupid, in his own words, essentially. So it says that, he believes that the cryptocurrency is on a verge of death, referring to Bitcoin, that the severe decline it has been facing is not healthy, and that the designers of the blockchain-based tender are brilliant at math, but appear to know nothing about economics. Now, I actually think it was pretty cool because Melissa Lee was kind of like standing up, not like standing up for Bitcoin, but she was basically like, so you're saying all these guys that are moving in from Wall Street are stupid, essentially is what you're saying. He goes on to say these things were never going to be currencies. They're not going to be currencies at any point in the future. They are fatally flawed. And as a result, right from the start of the hype late last year, it was fairly obvious that this was going to end badly. Unfortunately, some people who were not protected by any kind of regulation got sucked into the process. Although, that being said, going back to this article and this chart, you could see that we have had more good than bad. In fact, Bitcoin not only tends to break its all-time high, but it tends to absolutely obliterate it when it comes back up. In fact, there was a really good video that came out from Cointelegraph, and I don't have it pulled up right now, but just Google or look in YouTube for, I'll add it at the end of the video. How's that? It's called Time to Buy Bitcoin. And it talks about a bunch of guys, and they go into talk about how, the real money is made at the bottom. The real money is made when... Oh, they're feeding them right now. Check it out. Here we go. Watch it, guys. Okay, are you ready? Look, here comes the food. Oh, the IOTA sheep are getting fed. Okay, all right, it happened. Good, it happened live. I'm excited about that. So, got kind of off topic on that. But yeah, basically, long story short, we always break the all-time high. So yeah, I mean, is now a time to accumulate? You are the one that has to answer that question. But the one thing that I did want to point out though is the media and the media's stance on it. And media has a lot of potential to persuade the general population with their articles, right? So a new study's been done by esports company Clover. I briefly touched on this yesterday, but I realized I didn't dive into it enough. So I want to revisit it because there's some more things I wanted to talk about. So they were looking into the complicated relationship between cryptocurrencies and the news that covers them. So looking back at 2017, the research noted that crypto coverage was rather limited and only peaked when prices plunged, following bad news such as China's trading and exchange ban. The year before, positive sentiment far outweighed negative, a ratio that changed in the late 2017 market. So it seems like these guys are mostly all about reporting the FUD, but never about the good. Why? Why is that, right? So FUD was partially fueled by billionaires that had already made their money and possibly considered cryptocurrency a threat, or maybe they wanted to get in, okay? The likes of Warren Buffett calling it rat poison, Mark Cuban hammering away at the bubble, Jamie Dimon calling Bitcoin a fraud, adding gasoline to the fire, while, JP Morgan was accumulating in the background, but that's for another day. So as markets peaked and then fell in January of 2018, mainstream media ramped up its FUD machine and more negative sentiment flooded out. So the interesting thing is the study's research found that during the initial bull run, coverage was still mostly positive. They note that such a perspective may have helped fuel the Bitcoin price, okay? However, the study found that the coverage became more negative as the price of Bitcoin rose. As the world's foremost cryptocurrency was approaching its all-time high, mainstream media reporting began to tilt away from positive and to the negative. The trend continued as the bear market reared its head and the value of the entire market began to drop dramatically. This negative coverage dominates most of the mainstream media outlets today. So, one reason could simply be that mainstream media loves the concept of if it bleeds, it leads. I mean, people are more likely to watch negative stuff than positive stuff, right? I mean, people get into that doom and gloom and stuff. Nobody cares about the guy that donated, you know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about the philanthropist, right? So that could be one thing. The other thing too could be a bit of a quote. Now, I actually heard this from Crypto Daily, but he got it from somebody else. And basically he said, when a retail investor misses the train, you miss the train. But when an institutional investor misses the train, then they pull the train back or something like that. Basically, when the big guys, the big money, the big players miss the train, they essentially pull the train back. So it could just be a lot of FUD to try to get the price lower so that these guys can accumulate. And I think that that's more of what's going on than anything. There's also some fascinating tidbits as well to mention. First, researchers noted that business publications such as Forbes and Business Insider that tend to tilt towards younger audiences were far more positive in their reporting, whereas these traditional mainstream media outfits were very harsh towards Bitcoin. So guys like the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, Reuters, New York Times, Gizmodo, and Yahoo Finance, just to name a few. So let me know what you guys think about that below. What do you think about the mainstream media? So to quote this guy right here, and I'm not really a fan of this guy very much, but he says, when a long-term trend loses its momentum, short-term volatility tends to rise. It is easy to see why that should be so. The trend-following crowd is disoriented. What does this mean? Chill out. All right, it's going to be fine, guys. It's going to work out, and you're going to see Bitcoin's going to rise again. I can't talk for these other altcoins. I don't know about all these different projects, but I feel in my bones that Bitcoin is going to skyrocket at some point again. So take this time of bear market nastiness as a blessing, and, not financial advice, but I know someone out there is accumulating. So let's talk about this new study, though, that does show why some people are afraid to get into crypto. Why are we not seeing more adoption, right? So basically, volatility is the single biggest barrier for most. People don't like things that are not stable. I don't want to be waiting online to buy a cup of coffee, and by the time I get to the front, the currency that I'm using to pay is worth a completely different amount, right? So this was actually conducted by Meter. It was only a survey of 1,000 US consumers, but they were people that are familiar with crypto. So just keep that in mind, okay? And they wanted to learn about their opinions on the technology. So these are some of the things that they found. 86% of these people make less than half of their purchases with cash, with an overwhelming majority primarily using electronic forms of payment. This doesn't really come as a surprise. 90% of respondents would use use a cryptocurrency that is stable and accepted as a form of payment almost everywhere if they could get their hands on one. Interestingly enough, enthusiasts and skeptics alike agree that volatility is the biggest issue surrounding cryptocurrency. Almost 90% worry about volatility. Of those who own cryptocurrencies, 60% cited volatility as the most inconvenient aspect of using crypto. Of the respondents who did not own any cryptocurrency, almost half specified volatility as the primary reason that they had not invested, and more than 3/4 would be more likely to purchase cryptos if they were less volatile. Also, there's some other really cool things at the bottom. So more than half have used cryptos to pay for goods online. 46% have used cryptocurrency to purchase goods like gaming, gift cards, and food as well. And 82% did not own, 82% who did not own any crypto said that they would like to own some in the future. So the volatility is definitely a big problem. So this article over here basically says, well, crypto markets won't do anything in 2019, and that's a good thing? Okay, let's really look into it though. So basically, ICO Box has compiled its top 3 trends for crypto in 2019. Obviously, 2017 was when crypto exploded. 2018 was when we started to understand it. So what is next? So they say, well, the first thing we got to do next year is fix blockchain's problems: poor scalability, sluggish transaction times, and hesitant adoption by the greater population. Obviously, once again, the other problem is high volatility. So this is according to ICO Box Blockchain Research Center, or IBRC. Technological improvements and a stable market through 2019 are just what investors need to make another sustainable bull run in the future. According to ICO Box, the more calm 2019 is, the better off crypto will be in the long run. The IRBC predicts that tokenization will likely define 2019. So this is number 2, the tokenization of everything. Now, I remember when I first heard about, we're going to tokenize this, we're going to tokenize that. At first, I was like, come on, you really can't tokenize everything. But the more I thought about it, it actually does make sense, but it doesn't make sense from an investment standpoint. Like, I don't want to invest in hot dog coin or cabbage coin or landscaping coin or something like that, right? But for a small controlled environment, it could work. Almost like coupons, like frequent flyer mile, stuff like that. Not to mention tokenizing things like buildings, right? So people can own different amounts of it, and then instead of having to wait a long time to sell it, they can just sell their, tokens back and forth. So unlike the aforementioned option, tokenization allows token holders to trade their assets like stock, so money's not tied up for years until the physical item is sold. So the probability is that 2019 will see races in virtually every sector to tokenize physical goods as companies look to sign up both investors and item owners throughout the year. Tokenization will not only pump tons of funds into the crypto space, but free up capital from item owners as they sell off token shares of their assets. Crypto gurus have been preaching decentralization for quite some time, and this is why possibly securing personal information could be number 3. They suggest that greater public knowledge will see more and more people trying to take advantage of blockchain now that they have a better understanding of it. So there's a widespread sentiment that people want to take control of their personal information, and they're starting to search for solutions. Obviously, we've seen these things that happen with Cambridge Analytica, right? Nobody trusts these guys with our information anymore. So blockchain and crypto offer a viable solution that are constantly improving. It will take time, but hopefully these are some of the things that we can work on in the future. And then they ended off by saying that the future is looking quite bright. Now, let's get into some coin news for the day. I want to start off with Ripple. So the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, actually says that he expects banks to start holding crypto assets on behalf of their customers next year. So at the Singapore FinTech Festival, he basically was up there and he said that regulatory clarity and the opportunity to make money will drive banks and financial institutions to store digital assets like XRP for their customers. So he goes, right now, we think about that and think there's no way that's going to happen. They're too conservative, right? And I think what you're seeing is 2 things happening. One is banks are seeing that a lot of money is being made by digital asset exchanges globally, and banks are profit, motivated, so they're going to want a piece of the action as well. According to Garlinghouse, the first banks to offer crypto custody will be members of the Association of Southeastern Asian Nations. Now, also in some XRP news, this is what I know a lot of people were excited for. A lot of people were pushing this to get CZ from Binance to get more of these XRP base listings. Well, it looks like Kucoin is actually going to start supporting XRP trading. So the following trading pairs are now currently, or will be currently available between mean, starting December 3rd with buying and then withdrawals on the 5th. So you're going to have XRP BTC, XRP USDT, XRP ETH, XRP PAX, XRP True USD, XRP USDC, XRP Kucoin shares, and XRP NEO. So this is going to help a lot with the liquidity moving forward. I know a lot of people like to use XRP because it's fast, right? So for a limited time period, also Kucoin Exchange is going to be offering a 99% discount for anybody trading using XRP. And this is going to run from the 3rd until the 10th of December. Also, we have the Blocknet in the news. They say we are now introducing the world's first thin wallet powered by Blocknet's XRouter. Okay, now if you want to check this out right here, the XRouter, this is from a while ago. It's really complicated, but it's really cool because you can actually basically pull up all the information of the blockchains without having to download the entire chain. So we know this could take forever. I mean, I remember when we tried to download the A-Chain wallet a while back, the regular version of it was like, it just took almost, some people couldn't even do it on their computer, and it took me like 3 days. So this is pretty cool moving forward. Obviously, since then, those guys made the Lite wallet, but so that's basically what's coming out of that camp. We also have Zcash and Monero have been turned into an Ethereum smart contract. This guy says zero knowledge proofs are just a dApp. So here's like the evidence right here. Obviously, I have no idea what I'm looking at. I'm not a developer. Now, a lot of people were kind of saying like, okay, we get it. So you could do, zero knowledge proofs on Ethereum, but people down here are saying you don't really understand how privacy features truly work. Like, in other words, you can't really compare this to actually using Monero. But that being said, it's something just to note, something to look at. Also, guys, I wanted to just talk about this because this is just an ongoing thing, and I know there's a lot of new people in crypto, so I gotta say it once in a while. There are a lot of scammers out there, okay? I got hit up literally this morning and the night before from 2 different people talking to 2 different scammers pretending to be me, trying to, take money from these people. Obviously, be careful. Here's one from David Hay, okay? And then this guy basically called him out and said, yeah, we're getting the same message in this other chat too. So just be careful, guys. And also, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, I don't actually have an Instagram account. I know I should probably make one, but I don't currently have one. This guy right here, the Crypto Zombie, this is not me. I've made several complaints to Instagram and they literally just don't care. So if you guys would like to go report this for me, that'd be great. I mean, look down here. Drop your Telegram username if you wish to earn more Bitcoin daily. Limited offer only. Expert in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum consultant. Yeah, because that's totally me, guys. So if you want to go report this for me, that'd be really nice. Just kind of tell them it's fake. It's the Crypto Zombie on Instagram. So also, speaking of scams, we have AriseBank CEO facing up to 120 years in jail and a $4 million fine for falsely promoting the crypto platform as offering multiple bank services. So this is Jared Rice. Among some of the false misrepresentations made by Rice was that they were issuing a Visa-branded card to consumers despite the platform not entering in a partnership with Visa. So this is exactly what happened with Centra. Did you guys not see what happened with Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled? So we're having another partnership with a credit card company that's fake. And then it says, as for the money collected from the ICO, Mr. Rice discreetly used investor funds for his own personal use, spending the money on hotels, food, clothing, etc., according to the court records. There you guys go. Scams, ICOs, this is exactly why the SEC is stepping in and cracking down on literally everyone. Interestingly enough, though, so this is a response to the SEC. So you guys know John McAfee. And if you're not familiar with John McAfee, he used to do a thing on Twitter called Coin of the Day. And although it wasn't explicitly stated at the time, he was doing paid promotional tweets. And these tweets were later revealed to be over $100,000 per tweet. Okay? So this guy was making some serious money off of literally tweets. And so he responded and they said, are you worried about the SEC? And he said, me, worried about the SEC? I have openly, publicly, and in the media ridiculed that corrupt, pus-filled, bile-dripping abscess of the fabric of America. Come for me, SEC. I will, in every media outlet in this country, rip you a new asshole worthy of parking a tractor trailer in. Okay, that's one way to take it. So you also have crypto-friendly lawyer Jake Chervinsky also commenting on the matter, and he says, I don't think the SEC has the resources or desire to go after YouTube and Twitter influencers who shilled ICOs to their subscribers and followers, he does say, I absolutely do think plaintiffs who bought into ICOs based on those influencers' secret paid promotions will name them in litigation. So inevitably, you're going to piss somebody off if you're doing this. So that's just kind of getting back to that matter. But looking at the fact that we're saying, okay, ICOs, you can't promote them, whatever, you got to disclose the amounts and all this other stuff, but even STOs are not being welcomed. For example, over in Beijing, you have the Municipal Bureau of Finance warned projects against holding security token offerings. At a recent wealth management forum hosted by the Bureau on Saturday, they said that STO fundraising activities are illegal, at least in Beijing. Now, I mean, are you really surprised about this? We already know China's stance on everything, right? So obviously, guys, if you're new and you don't know, I've never personally made an STO ICO comparison, but essentially an STO is similar to, ICO in the way that it's conducted. The only difference is that the STO also allows token holders to share in the profits of a company based on the underlying asset, okay? So this is more familiar with people that do traditional things. So another thing I wanted to point out too was in the summer, you had Pan Gongshen, the vice president of the People's Bank of China, said that the central bank planned to hit back hard against ICO projects that had even moved overseas if they continue to market towards Chinese investors. And that's the thing too, is even if you're not in a jurisdiction like the SEC, right? So, I'm in the UK, I'm safe. Well, if you're actively promoting and people from, let's say the United States can view your videos, then essentially you are promoting to that audience, right? So he also said at any time, any new financial product or phenomenon that is not authorized under the existing legal framework will crush them as soon as they dare to surface. But on the flip side, we have Kakao, South Korea's largest internet conglomerate that operates applications and has nearly a 90% dominance in the respective market, is running an ICO to raise funds for their project called Clay. And this one is one that the SEC won't be able to touch, essentially. They're planning to raise around $300 million, and it says that most of the funds have already been secured by Ground X. This is a really long article, by the way, guys, if you want to read. Moving on real quick, I wanted to just talk about this article I saw super fast, nothing crazy, but it was just Bitcoin arbitrage versus mining, which is more profitable. So they talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of, just doing trading or mining. Basically, in a nutshell, they say that overall, both Bitcoin arbitrage and mining prove to be profitable methods of getting Bitcoin. Bitcoin arbitrage, however, seems like the more practical method to rely on. It's easy to manage, can ensure a profit to be earned, which is great for both buying and selling Bitcoins. Also, you don't have to buy mining rigs and pay electricity and all this other stuff. So a kind of common sense knowledge, but you could check that out. But one thing that's pretty cool on the same topic of mining is Asus, the Taiwan-based computer hardware manufacturer, has partnered with startup software company Quantum Cloud in a bid to distribute an easy-to-use graphics processing unit, GPU, mining interface for Asus graphic cards. So Quantum Cloud has produced software that allows GPUs to automatically mine appropriate crypto assets while the expensive chips are sitting idle. However, it says that, you're not really going to become a millionaire. I mean, they give a rough average that an idle GTX 1070, a reasonably modern and powerful chipset, could earn you around $10 a month. But hey, if it's just going to sit there and do nothing, right? Might be worth it, guys. Might be worth it. Also, I want to talk about investment funds transaction network Calastone, a founding member of the Linux Foundation-led Hyperledger project, is shifting its entire system to the blockchain. The firm, which assists its clients sell their funds over the world via banks and financial advisors, expects to complete the switch to what it is calling the distributed market infrastructure next year in May. So their project consists of over 1,700 organizations for which it offers back office and even middle office services in 40 global markets, including our good old buddies, JP Morgan. So according to them, the adoption of blockchain technology could save the global fund industry approximately $4.3 billion US annually. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to Wyoming. Despite serious opposition from the banking industry, the state of Wyoming has passed a blockchain bank bill almost unanimously. The move further cements the state's welcoming approach to blockchain integration. And if that's not enough to make you happy before we go, guys, you remember this meme over here? Well, it looks like somebody flipped it around, and now the Bitcoin mountains are going up. and everybody's happy. So, that being said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, you guys are freaking awesome. You're the reason that I do this every single day. So, yes, we are taking a hit. I mean, the markets are red just literally right before the video. So, guys, really appreciate it. Everyone that's been coming back, you guys are freaking awesome. I love you. Hope you enjoy the start to your week. That being said, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.